How do you start this video? Hi. No, that was horrible. Good afternoon. Nope, that's not it. I'm not really sure how to start this video, just to be transparent, so I'm just gonna dive straight on into it. So, my name is Faith Eden. Hello. This is very different from content that I normally do. If you review previous videos, I do a lot of Hobby Lobby visits, I do a lot of decorating visits, I do a lot of Christmas in July, it's very Christmassy themed, my channel. Having said that, I feel like I wanted to share something important to me, mostly because I need to be accountable for the plans that I say I'm going to execute, and to maybe encourage someone else. I'm not sure, but I know that for the most part it is to encourage and keep myself held accountable to the things that I said that I wanted to do. So my family, especially on my father's side, has a lot of health problems. And very recently, a cousin of mine passed away, but I want to say he was like in his 60s maybe, and he passed away from cancer. My father passed away from cancer. I'm 99% sure that all of the siblings had cancer, and I have another cousin who's battling cancer right now. My grandmother on my mom's side passed away because she had a artery block in her leg, and somehow it like dislodged and went straight to her heart, and she passed asleep in the middle of the night. So needless to say, as I grow older, I become more and more aware of death. And the amount that death has been on my mind recently is giving me gray hairs. And so I thought to myself, the only way that I can try to prevent the same fate as what other family members have experienced is to take the initiative and take care of my health, be mindful of what I'm eating, be mindful of how active I am, be involved in reading the Word and Scripture, and investing more into my family and my friends, and just trying to develop a rich life. But mostly, for sure, it's the eating and the activity. What does a day look like for me? I'm usually up anywhere from 4:50 to 5 a.m. I get up, I go to the restroom, I get ready, brush my teeth, maybe I put some makeup on, get my work uniform on. I go into the living room, I make a cup of coffee, I use homemade creamer, and then I sit until it's time for me to leave. I get in my car, I drive to work, I arrive at work around 7, and then I leave. It really ranges anywhere from like 4:30 to 6, and then I drive home for about another hour and 15 minutes. So by the time I get home, on average it's 6:30 by the time I get home. My job is very stressful. It's very high energy, high impact, constant changes, while trying to maintain a routine. It's a lot of leadership, a lot of coaching, a lot of walking back and forth, but more so a lot of stress. How do I cope with stress, you ask? It's a great question. I'd love to tell you. For example, this is just me being super transparent about like my eating habits when I'm stressed out. There was a day that it was like not even 9 o'clock yet, and so many things had happened already at work. So what did I do? Well, instead of taking a moment to hydrate and think and plan things out, the first thing that I did was went and bought a bag of Hostess chocolate covered mini donuts. And I bought like a Dunkin' Donuts refrigerated single serve. Went into my office to go do my computer work, and before I knew it, the entire bag of Hostess chocolate covered mini donuts was gone, as well as the Dunkin' coffee that I had annihilated. The next day, right, more stress, constant stress. How does she cope with it? She eats. So what did I do? Bought myself a giant Hershey bar, not an extra large, not a king size, a giant Hershey Kisses bar. Hershey bar, not Hershey Kisses. For lunch, normally always something fried. A KFC bowl, which I love. I love a good KFC bowl. Like I'm salivating right now just thinking about it. Normally some kind of fried chicken, or like a chicken salad, croissant sandwich, chips, soda, coffee, soda. Okay, so that's what a daily routine kind of looked like for me at work for a very long time. Years, very long time. I had noticed some different things that became a little bit problematic and concerning. My breathing has become a little bit more labored. I have gained a lot of weight. Just different things that when I think about it, I'm like, oh, I did not do myself any favors by eating, consuming, drinking any of that, right? So, it was really with the passing of this cousin that I really took to heart, realizing, hey, you're not in your 20s anymore. You're not a teenager anymore. Like, you have to pay attention to what you're eating and committing to that. So we went to Sam's Club, and by the pharmacy they have one of those like blood pressure things, and so I did that, and then I weighed myself, right? So I have all of this written down. At least I think I do. So this video might be a little bit all over the place because I wrote down some things, but I didn't write down other things. So if I'm bouncing back and forth, I'm really sorry. This is a very impulse thing for me to do because I really want to commit to this, and I know that if I do not do it now, I will make an excuse to not do it later, and that would probably be detrimental to me. So I apologize if this video is scattered, if the editing isn't the best, if I say a lot. I just ask that you would bear with me. And so I didn't write down, I can't believe I didn't write that down. I thought I wrote down what my blood pressure series was, but I didn't. It's on my phone. I'm filming on my phone. So somewhere in here I will list what my blood pressure was and then what it was most recently. Most recently it has gotten better, but I will tell you what I believe is the reason. I have worked very diligent, and I say worked because it is a sincere effort for me to not indulge in sodas. I love sodas, especially Dr. Peppers. They're very nostalgic for me. They remind me of summers with my mom. So I have to work to make the decision to drink a water and not a soda, okay? So I switched out drinking soda, and switched to drinking water. So when I would go and take a break, I would go grab an Evian versus going and grabbing a Sprite or a Dr. Pepper or a Starry or whatever. But that was a very diligent decision I had to make. Anyways, I had done that and my blood pressure got better. And when I realized it got better, it was very encouraging to me that, hey, you could actually do this. You could get healthier. You could take control. You could not feel the way that you feel right now for the rest of your life. The information I'm going to share with you was written down on July 15th, and this is how I was feeling around then. Tired all of the time. You are probably tired all the time too. It feels like everyone I know is tired all of the time. I would get home from work around 6:30, change into cozy clothes, eat dinner, and then fall asleep on the couch. And then I would be asleep until I had to go to bed, and then wake up the next morning and do it all over again. But how much have I spent the last year and a half sleeping and not spending time with my family, or being an inconvenience because I fell asleep on the sofa and now my family can't just enjoy being in the living room. Now they have to go to the office and do whatever they want to do, so that one was one that really bothered me. My dad slept a lot, and my dad was morbidly obese. He had a lot of heart problems. He died of esophageal cancer. He had a lot of health problems. So that was something that really bothered me. I love my dad. May he rest in peace. But as far as health goes, I want nothing to be like him. Anxiety and heart palpitations. This goes to stress management and working on trying to find coping mechanisms for myself that work. I don't have coping mechanisms. I'm working on figuring out what that is, but prior to, sleeping issues, waking up in the middle of the night and my heart rate skyrocketing so high I couldn't go back to sleep. At work, being so nervous that my breathing would change, just all kinds of stuff, constant anxiety, constant fear of failure, constant fear of letting someone down, constant fear of what did I miss, or what went over my head, or what should we have changed, how could we have done that better. But it being not a motivational thing of, hey, this is an opportunity that we have to get better. It was more of a done. Oh no! Every day, all the time. Heart palpitations would come out of nowhere. I would literally be sitting at my desk, have a thought, and then my heart rate would just go wild. So heart disease does run in the family, and that is something that I will need to go to the doctors and see if I have that. Before I go any further, I do just want to say that I am not a dietitian. I am not a doctor. All of this that I'm doing is for me personally. It is just a personal journey that I want to share to hold myself accountable. And so please don't take any of this as medical advice or something that you should do. You definitely need to partner with your own doctor, with your own dietitian, and come up with a plan that is going to work best for you, your body, and your needs. So just to preface that, okay? I have really bad plantar fasciitis. My mom had plantar fasciitis, but she had the steroid shots when I was really little. I have not taken the steroid shots yet. For a while, I was doing the castor oil thing on my feet because I had read that would help with it, but I wasn't consistent enough in it. So do my feet still hurt? At this point, yes. If I sit down for too long, or my drive to and from work, it's not as bad in the morning, but when I'm driving home, because the drive is so long, by the time I get out of my truck, my feet are in so much pain. I kind of have to scoot until I get a couple scoots in and I can kind of walk on them a little bit. I'm hoping that with losing weight, that will help with the severity of the pain. And I'll have to look at different alternatives to actually get it fixed. But I want to try to start as natural as possible to help myself versus just like diving into medicines and to surgeries and to all these different things. Backaches. So I'm pretty sure that the backaches are tied to kidneys. And for a while I wasn't drinking the water I needed to drink. So that has gotten better, but also my posture. I used to have excellent posture. And then I can't really tell you when that all changed, but I think after I took my last promotion, I became more slumped. And so I'm working on rebuilding my posture back up, and having been staying hydrated for so long, the back pain I was experiencing has pretty well gone away. Losing hair. My mom thinned out a lot, so some of this I have to remind could possibly be just like genetic. But if I can help prevent some things, that's just what I need to try to do. So she thinned out in her early 30s, and I'm 35, and my hair has thinned out. Constipated. Sorry, I know that's probably way TMI, but constipation for real. So I was bloated all of the time bloated. My ankles would swell. I had heartburn all the time. That's probably one of my biggest things that was happening to my body that was very concerning to me, is like how much heartburn and how quickly I would get it. It was every day. Every day I had heartburn. It didn't matter what I would drink, what I would eat, I would get heartburn. And that was very concerning to me, because heartburn can be a symptom that leads to developing esophageal cancer. So that was really concerning for me. So I looked into a few different things of what it could be, whether it's GERDs or different things. And again, I want to start as naturally as possible before I have to go and potentially do surgeries or anything like that. So having said that, we're going to talk about some of the things that I have already done. So some of the things that I have changed is how often I'm eating. Okay. So with this one, I will need grace, because I'll probably make some people mad. That's not the intention. Again, this is me sharing what I'm doing for my body. So my body is very used to consuming way over 2,500 calories. Okay. I am used to consuming a lot of calories because of not because I was eating a whole bunch, but because what I was choosing to eat was so packed with calories, and I would eat the entire thing. It wouldn't be, a foot long sub for just the bread. I want to say for like the white bread, it's like 400 calories just for the bread. So it didn't take much for me to exceed the 2,500 or 2,400 threshold of calorie intake. So I was constantly just like eating way too much, and not even realizing it, because I would think to myself, oh, well, I only had one whole bag of Hostess mini chocolate covered donuts. I only had 2 whole bottles of Dr. Pepper. I only had mashed potatoes, butter corned, and 2 chicken tenders for lunch. And then I only had a candy bar towards the end of my shift. And then when I came home, I only had chicken Alfredo, 2 servings. And then I only had a full cup of ice cream afterwards. I know. So I had to change the amount that I was eating. Now, I do want to say I'm only a week into this, and I'm going to tell you what I was thinking yesterday. I didn't want to make this video until I lost about 4 or 5 pounds, just to show myself that I was committed, that I could do it. I used to be physically fit. Once upon a time, I was physically fit. I wanted to go into the Marines, so I was in the Poolee program. We were running what felt like 20,000 miles a day. It was awful, but I was very physically fit. I never went into the Marines. But that's what we did. When I was in high school, I played basketball. Again, really physically fit. In my 20s, I was relatively fit, merely because I couldn't afford to really eat. So I wasn't consuming a whole bunch of stuff until like my mid-20s. In my mid-20s, I lived alone, so I only had to cook for myself. And I mean, I was making bomb meals, like good quality meals. I have a whole bunch of pictures on Instagram. I'll probably post a couple, but I mean, I would make that tomato and cheese and bread stuff. I would make grilled chicken all the time. I would make tuna salads. I would make just all kinds of like really good tasty meals. And then I don't know what happened. But then I got a big girl job, and I was not prepared for big girl job as far as how I needed to maintain my strength, how I needed to maintain my mental strength, how I needed to manage through things. It was just like, here's all of this. You're in charge of it. Make sure you get it done. And I think walking into that and not being prepared for, these are the repercussions of your job. This is the reality and the effects of what's going to take place. Here's how you manage those. Nobody tells you about that. Nobody told me about that. I didn't think about that. So anyway, some of the things I have started to do just to help my body, right, is started taking Metamucil. It works. It works. It has helped my system regulate. It has helped just things happen the way that they should. I'm not going to knock it. I'm going to tell you that everybody should be drinking Metamucil. Okay? It has been a game changer for me personally. Do it. It just helps your body. It helps everything flush out that needs to flush out. It helped so much for me to not constantly feel like I was bloated all of the time. Like knowing I'm already a big girl and feeling bloated all the time was one of the most depressing feelings I was constantly battling. So Metamucil helped so much with that. Okay. I started drinking super greens once a day. The brand that I picked with my husband was Ghost. And the only thing I'll say about that is that it is not third party verified, I think is the term. And I'm not really sure if it's like a proprietary mix or anything like that. But I do know that I felt a difference. Once I started taking it, I felt like I had more energy. Now, there's a caveat to that. When I started to drink this Ghost Super Greens powder and drinking that every day, I stopped drinking coffee. Now, I love coffee. I have always loved coffee. I've been drinking coffee since I was about 12 years old, okay? And I love our Nespresso machine, and sometimes it pains me to see it just sitting there. So I've started having 1 cup a week, usually on my day off. But I pulled back from drinking coffee because of the dairy, and that's the main reason why. I would make it with heavy whipping cream. Coffee overall is actually a very good drink for you. A lot of antioxidants in it, but then we normally cover the flavor of coffee with sugar and coffee creamers and all this stuff. And I had actually stopped using store-bought coffee creamer because I would get outrageous heartburn in the morning on the way to work, like no matter what I did. And I had kind of put 2 and 2 together. So I started making my own. when I started making my own, the heartburn minimized a great deal, enough for me to notice that it was the store-bought coffee creamer that was making me feel that way. So making it was a lot better, but I think also pulling back from consuming dairy is also beneficial with struggling with heartburn. So there's that. And I'm going to tell you, the energy difference that I felt was completely different than how I felt after I would drink coffee. So when I stopped drinking it and switched over to Ghost, I could feel at work that I had the energy to do like the physically demanding portion of my job and not feel like I was completely worn out. I pulled back from eating every time I felt hungry. And that's been a hoot. So just to be clear, we eat. Like I have eaten this week, okay? I am not starving, but I'm also not giving into my body every time she rumbles her stomach at me. Because you have to keep in mind, my body is used to consuming a lot of calories. And it's used to consuming a lot of processed food. And now I've switched, and she's like, what are you doing to me? So like if you were to look through our refrigerator right now, and I might actually show you, but it's like all green. I'm sure my husband loves it. But it's all green, all ingredients. I'm trying to pre-make some food just to help encourage myself and encourage my husband for us to stay on track. I feel less totally and completely exhausted. Like I said, I would come home, I'd eat, I would change, I would sit down, I would be out. And then I could literally sleep through my alarm. I could sleep for ever, really, if I didn't have an alarm. So I feel less constipated. I feel like my body is not completely exhausted, and I feel hungry. But that's not bad. I was talking to my husband last night because my husband was a fit fanatic. I mean, very, very strict on himself. So strict that he was the guy that made chicken breast that didn't season it. It was chicken breast, it was broccoli, and like that is what he ate. And his physique was phenomenal. Okay. Then we get married, and my bad habits wipe on. He didn't drink soda. He wasn't drinking soda. Of course, we get together, and he started drinking it a little bit here and there, but then we started buying Olipop and Poppy and stuff, so he does drink it more now. But like he's very well aware of like what the human body can do, what his body can do, what he's put his body through to get to certain things. So I was telling him, I'm like, is it normal to be this hungry all the time? And I followed it up by saying, I feel hungry. And he goes, feelings are not always true. And I'm like, you have a point. And he talked about how people eat, the average person eats way more than they should. So they're never actually giving their body the chance to break food down and process it. They're just constantly consuming and consuming. And he said that, so anyway, it's normal to feel hungry when you're transitioning and you're changing from one diet to another diet, because you are used to eating so many, and now all of a sudden you're not, and your body is like having an attitude problem with you, like, excuse me, miss, where is my Hershey Giant bar at? And you're like, listen, I really want to get it for you. I really want to get it for you. But we have a problem and we need to work through this together, and I can't get that for you today, but maybe I can give you a treat. It's almost like fighting with a toddler. You're negotiating with a little terrorist, okay? And she has attitude problems, right? She wants what she wants and she wants it now, right? Yeah. So anyway, I noticed a change in my body when my husband proposed to me. Once he proposed to me, I like racked on the weights like it was going out of style. And so by the time we got married, on our wedding day, I was 263 pounds. And I had been less than 200 pounds. Was I the most fit human being in the world? Absolutely not. But I had gained like 60 pounds from the time that he asked me to marry him to the day that we got married. And when I look back and I think about that and I try to process why that happened, it was because I had no family that was going to be at my wedding. None. No one that was in that building was related to me by blood. And that was a very hard thing for me to wrap my mind around, was that I'm getting married and I have absolutely no family here. That was very hard for me to cope with. There was a different situation happening simultaneously during that was really, really defeating me, and I made up for it and I comforted myself in food. So I racked up the pounds like quick and very dangerously. Okay. Now, after we got married, I've maintained that weight for the most part until recently, because I was like lackadaisically really committed, but kind of committed to losing some weight, until I saw my cousin pass away from cancer. That's when it kind of hit me like, no, girl, you need a whole lifestyle shift or you're going to die.
Cease to exist.
And that is not something I'm ready to do. I told God I am not ready to, and that I need his help and I need to commit. And so that's where we're at. So when I did this, sorry, I want to be accurate for you, okay? When I did this, I started at 253 in June 23rd. June 23rd is when we went to Sam's Club and I did the arm thing, and it took my weight and all of that. Again, I don't have that here, so it should have already popped up for you previously in this video. If not, I may or may not pop it up again. It all depends on my editing mood. But anyway, so June 23rd, 2024, I was 253 pounds. My BMI was 38%. And my dress size is 18. On the 15th of July, I decided to get a little bit more specific about what was the transition of my body, so that I can actually see in numbers how things were changing. So on July 15th, I weighed 252 pounds. My bust line was 42 inches. My waist was 40.25 inches. My hips were 50 inches. My BMI was 38.16. My right arm and my left arm are 14.5 inches. My left thigh and my right thigh are 26 inches. So a week goes by, and it's a week of changing my habits and not impulse eating and not eating the garbage and stopping to pick up JJ pies and donuts and stuff like that. So on Sunday, July 21st, which was yesterday, I weigh 248 pounds. My bust line is 41 inches, so I lost 1 inch on my bust line. My waist is 40 inches, so I lost a 1/4 inch on my waistline. And my hips are 49 inches, so I lost 1 inch on my waist. My BMI is 37.7. My right arm and my left arm are still the same. They're still at 14.5 inches. But my left thigh and my right thigh have gone down to 25.25 inches. So I have lost some. So the next thing for me to walk into is going to be my physical activity. What is my physical activity going to be? So ideally, honestly, I would love for my physical activity to be walking. My husband and I went on a walk yesterday to a local state park, and it was beautiful, and it was nice to just be outside and be walking with my husband and just enjoying the sights while also getting my heart rate up, getting a little sweat on. And I had been sick the day before with a fever, and so I wanted to work all that yucky out. So ideally, it would be that I can walk. However, I live in a very rural area, so there's not sidewalks. There's not really an ideal place close by to walk. So I can walk up and down the drive, which wouldn't be bad at all. But then I was thinking about Pilates. And Pilates is what's going to be my ideal activity. Because like 3 weeks ago, I tried to do Pilates, like a beginner's Pilates video that I just found on YouTube, free on YouTube. And like 20 minutes, it was only a 30-minute video as like an introductory thing. And it's like mostly the stretching. And 20 minutes into it, I felt like I was dying. So it's got to be good, right? So Pilates is going to be what I focus on as far as like my physical activity goes. My stress management is still something that I'm thinking about how I'm going to go about that. I know for starters, it really is going to be spending more time in the Word. I personally believe that the Lord can do greater, bigger things than we could ever expect. And I have faith in that. And so I feel like my first thing should always be to take it to the Lord first. Take it to the Lord. Take it to the Lord. So that's going to be the first thing that I do to initiate how to begin my stress management, and then going from there and seeing kind of where it leads me. Even this video was stressful because like when I'm telling you these things, I'm confronting myself and telling myself, no, this is the reality of where you're at, Faith. This is where your weight is. And like when I edit videos and I see how big I've gotten, I just feel so disappointed that I allowed myself to get to that place. Because I did. I let myself get to that place. And my husband has always just been like so incredible and very encouraging. And he's never said anything ever about my weight gain. He's never said anything to make me ever feel bad. Nothing. He has tried to encourage me to do things that are more healthy. And I've resisted almost every time because I don't need to. I don't want to. I don't feel like it. I just work 12 hours. I'm not doing that. So he's been very, very, very loving and very patient, and I am very blessed. So anyhow, I am going to show you what the inside of the refrigerator looks like. I probably shouldn't because this is also very impulse and I haven't cleaned it. I haven't cleaned it. So please don't judge me too harshly, okay? Okay. Oh boy. All right. So we have Greek yogurt, yeast. This is actually homemade peach jam that I made last year. We have some poppy in the back, cream cheese. But anyway, we have, yesterday I made lentil soup for the first time, and I made it with turmeric sauce. Turmeric. It looks very disgusting, but it was actually really good. Cilantro, eggs. I made a garbanzo salad, which is super, super good, packed with a lot of really good stuff. It's delicious. More yogurt. I bought these because I'm going to be making stuffed ground quinoa bell peppers out of these. But again, just like a lot of vegetables, more bell peppers, greens, cucumber, celery. These are carrots, garlic, broccoli, pickles, ginger root. There's a salad bag back there. More greens, cucumbers. We bought shallots yesterday, so I cut them all up to make it convenient. Blueberries that I cleaned yesterday. It's just a berry mix of strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, just for easy convenience. So there's less of an excuse to grab something that's not good. Almond milk to try to help me if I need to use dairy, substitute it for like not dairy. The ground turkey for the bell peppers, salmon, and then the chicken. One, I'm planning on doing a cilantro lime chicken, and then the other one, I can't remember what it's for. But anyway, if you stayed till the end of the video, I just want to say thank you for spending time here, and thank you for really being subscribed to this channel. As of right now, there's 472 subscribers to this channel, which blows my mind. And I want to say thank you for being here. And I know that this is different than the content that I normally make. And I know that that can really bother people sometimes, because we all like consistency. We all love consistency and familiarity and stable. And this is kind of roughing that up a little bit. So I just want to thank you for your understanding beforehand. And, if you're in the same position, if you're battling the same things, if you've been thinking about what we've just talked about for any length of time, maybe we can encourage each other. Maybe these videos will be encouraging to you. I do have some plans to show the journey, not just do this one video and then that's it, but to maybe make it a series of like different recipes I start to use, and how our grocery buying changes, and the weight loss that I'm gonna commit to continue to lose, and just that's a part of my life too, not just Christmas. And I want to be around for graduations and birthdays and wedding anniversaries. That is actually coming up. My husband and I, our third wedding anniversary is July 25th. Anyhow, so thank you for being here. And if you're not subscribed, if you cared for this video at all, or you care for the content that is on this channel, would you consider subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting? I would most certainly appreciate it. So anyway, have a great day. Bye.